the most dramatic end to any Premier League season.
Another corner. Joe Hart has got as far as the centre circle this time. In goes Jacko! Oh, hope rekindled here. One goal to win the title. It's as simple as that. Could it happen? Balotelli, Aguero! I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again. So watch it. Drink it in.
Down the middle. James, the lateral to the corner of the end zone. Can you believe that? 5 seconds. Fires for 3. Game is tied. He's tied.
I must be the greatest. I shook up the world. I shook up the world. I shook up the world. You must listen to me.
These moments in sport are truly sensational. Within 1 minute, both fans and players can go through nearly every emotion known to man. But the real question is, are we ignoring the risks which these players take to bring us this entertainment? And are we actually doing enough to help these people across their athletic career? WADA was established in 1999 to harmonise doping control to reduce the risks these players are exposed to. The organisation created the World Anti-Doping Code, which lists all the prohibited drugs across sports. To also highlight why these players are feeling the need to become exposed to risks, such as drug abuse, they created educational videos such as this.
People fall in love with sport because it's fun, and they enjoy being active. They like to play sport with friends and improve their skills. There is a shared sense of fairness to competition, and sport helps to build character. But as athletes' commitments to sport grow, the demands of training and competition also grow, as does the pressure and desire to win, improve, and be the best. Over time, it is easy to lose sight of what is valued most about sport. As the win-at-all-costs attitude intensifies, defeat in competition becomes difficult to handle, and injuries and recovery periods can be challenging. There can also be increased pressure to win from people surrounding athletes. With all these pressures and influences, things can become increasingly hard, and the temptation to find a shortcut grows. Doping can appear as an option.
The only issue is people commonly associate athletes using drugs to enhance performance, ignoring issues such as mental health. Athletes are exposed to a variety of high-pressure situations such as competitions. This could be one of the reasons why some athletes feel the need to use performance-enhancing drugs. Almost all of these PEDs are banned according to WADA's anti-doping code. This, however, still fails to prevent these drugs use. One of the most famous circumstances was that
Anderson Silva right now is as close as there is to an unbeatable fighter.
He's such a sniper. His strikes are so accurate and so deadly. The man literally has every single skill that you need to be a fighter. It's a treat to watch that guy perform.
Welcome to the Octagon, Anderson Silva.
this former UFC middleweight champion was at the top of his game. He had 10 straight title defense wins. However, in January 2015, he tested positive for drostanolone and androstane, both for form of steroids. When faced with injuries, athletes have been known to use drugs to accelerate the recovery time. Athletes in speed and power sports often use non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs as their remedy. A 2008 study published in Sport Medicine stated that elite athletes use medications to treat asthma more frequently than the general population. This drug use can lead to addiction. American football player Eric Ainge took prescription painkillers for a broken finger in college. This, however, led the way to later addiction. Many players, like NFL player Eugene Monroe, believe that cannabis is a healthier alternative to opioids, yet it is still prohibited across a variety of sports. Mental health disorders affect around 300 million people globally, including athletes. In 2011, Oscar De La Hoya ex-professional boxer and winner of multiple world titles, told Univision how depression led to his addiction to cocaine and alcohol. He also stated that before entering rehab, he had thoughts of suicide. J.E. Hussey performed a study in which she looked at family contributions to sport performance and their utility in predicting appropriate referrals to mental health optimization programs in 2019. During the study, she looked at and measured mental health using SARI. During this, she states that the most common mental health problems in athletes are depression, anxiety, all leading from drug and alcohol use. To obtain addictive substances, athletes don't have to turn far. They can obtain drugs from either a medical or non-medical source. Professional ice hockey player Derek Bugard died of an accidental overdose on oxycodone and alcohol. He received more than 100 prescription pills during his final 3 years of life. Most pills were administered by his team physicians.
As soon as he laced up his skates and he got on the ice, then bang, then it was the boogeyman that was out there.
Derek Bogard fought his way to center ice as an enforcer, one of the NHL's most feared fighters.
I couldn't believe the people that had the Bogard jersey. Everywhere I looked, there was Bogard, Bogard, Bogard everywhere. These people all love him.
I didn't see it coming at all, and he hit me hard. Hardest I've ever been hitting.
The fighters are getting bigger and tougher.
This kid is a monster.
The forces to the brain are getting worse while the brains are staying the same.
Number 94, Derek Bugard.
The role of enforcer exposed Bogard to repeated head trauma, chronic pain, and a deadly drug addiction.
Derek Bugard was just 28 years old. Family members found Bugard dead in his Minneapolis apartment last night.
You know, here's this kid from small town Saskatchewan that worked his butt off to play in the NHL, so what went so horribly wrong?
Dr. Louis Baxter Sr. stated, to see him have all that access to those doctors and all those prescriptions, that is mind-boggling. He also stated that he had such easy access to prescription medicines, which really shows how accessible these drugs are.
I don't care what we have to do, I want to win. If you're not first, you're not nothing.
One of the issues which we never take into consideration is the personal history of athletes and how this might have affected their likelihood of adopting a drug addiction. C. Ring looked at the role of moral identity, self-regulatory efficacy, and moral disengagement on athletes' doping likelihood in situations representing potential benefits and costs for themselves. In his Effects of Personal and Situational Factors on Self-Referenced Doping Likelihood, he concluded from his study that doping likelihood is associated with personal and situational factors. This supports Bandura's theory of moral thought and action, as well as Inquino's model of moral identity. These results are dependent on the character and moral identity of the athlete. As a child, Johnny Tapia witnessed the traumatic event of his mother's murder. The event triggered a lifelong alcohol and cocaine addiction, followed by suicide attempts and multiple incarcerations. He was declared dead 4 times due to his drug overdose. He later died in 2012 of heart failure.